The Dayton City Commission meeting will now come to order. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. This evening, the invocation will be given by Commissioner Fairchild.
O Holy One, as the leaves begin to fall, your creation reminds us that change is beautiful. May your cool breeze blow through our city and our lives, rustle our leaves and encourage us to reassess. Give us the courage to change ineffective parts and give us the wisdom to retain our best parts so that we become the city and people that embody your community, love, and justice. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
So, Ms. Blackshear, I'll tell you what, let me have a motion to approve the absence of Commissioner Joseph and Commissioner Shaw.
So move, Your
Can we
Honor.
have a roll call first, Mayor?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Mayor Mims,
I'm here.
Commissioner Fairchild,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner-Sloss.
Aye.
Okay, so now, let's do that again. May I have a motion to approve the absence of Commissioner Joseph and Commissioner
I move that we accept the absences of Commissioner Joseph and Commissioner Shaw.
Second, Your Honor.
Okay, it's been probably moved and seconded to approve the absences of Commissioner Joseph and Commissioner Shaw. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Okay, Ms. Blackshear, any petitions or communications?
There are none, Your Honor, but we need to approve the minutes.
Okay. You have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second, Your Honor.
And probably moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the September 10th meeting. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Okay. Now, communications and petitions.
There are none, Your
There are
Honor.
none. Ms. Blackshear, do we have any presentations this evening?
There are no presentations.
No? Okay. So do we have any deletions or comments to the calendar, Mr. Parlett?
I do have one comment I'd like to make, an exciting opportunity on calendar item C3. Not much exciting about $10 in revenue, but what the land bank will do with these parcels is exciting. 10 new affordable homes, as well as 24 structural rehabilitations. They'll be using their welcome home funds that they receive. That's all I have, Your Honor.
That's all you have? Okay. Ms. Blackshear, do you have any citizens who are registered to speak on the city manager's recommendations?
None on the city manager's recommendation.
Okay.
However, I would like to request the addition of the legislation pertaining to the public hearing at the desire of the commission.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, comments, thoughts, questions, city manager's recommendations?
Yes, very briefly.
Mrs.
Thank you.
Turner-Sloss?
Mayor, just very briefly, I would like to just echo Mr. Paulette's comments in regards to calendar item C3, and just to highlight, too, that this was a collaboration or a partnership and effort with not only the Land Bank and the Welcome Home Initiative and the programming, but the dollars that will be used, the $650,000 will be leveraged. That was actually passed by the voters by 76% of the income tax renewal. So from my understanding, that is for the first 4 years of the $650,000 that will be used to leverage the Welcome Home Initiative in collaboration with the Land Bank. So thank you.
That is correct. Thank you so much. Commissioner Fairchild?
Just clarification, are we planning to have a presentation on the amending the appropriations next week?
I don't believe we... What's that? Oh, I'm sorry, we have one today.
Okay.
So we should probably go ahead and do that then.
Yeah,
Thank you for that, Commissioner.
you're welcome.
All right, thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, Clerk. Before you this evening is the second revised appropriation. We have a couple of slides, as usual. We're going to have a couple of slides to show the changes, and I'm going to provide a high-level summary of those major changes. So the second revised appropriation in totality is $166.4 million, or 16.4% higher than the first revised appropriation. What you see in front of you today, starting with the general fund has an increase of $1.4 million. Starting at the top, $15,000 are being added to police's budget, police's general fund budget, and that is for the acquisition of drones.
I apologize. Excuse me, Ms. Jones. Mayor, could you please ask, if you would mind, could you enlarge that a little bit? Do you have the capability where you can zoom in a little bit?
No, I don't, because it's a presentation.
You still should be able to zoom in on the presentation. There you go.
Yeah, we'll do it that way.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Patel-Jones. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
All right, so as I was saying, the $15,000 are being funded from a donation that the police department received, and they are going to purchase drones for their HNT and SWAT operation. We are also transferring $25,000 from Recreation's General Fund to Capital Fund, and this is a previously set aside funding that will provide a one-time funding for computer purchases at the Recreation Center's lobbies in all of the recreation centers for public usage. We have $73,000 that is being transferred from non-departmental general fund contingency to fully fund the first year of violence reduction program. And lastly, we have $1.4 million that's included to provide the needed budget authority for the emergency building repairs to stabilize the 34 North Main site for the agreement that was already approved during the last commission meeting. The second section is the Special Projects Fund. The Special Projects Fund have a total increase of $1,001.5. The very first item on here is the Violence Disruption Program. We are establishing a expense budget, and that is what you see for the $450,000. In addition to that, there's $80,000 increase to match the available cash in the Real Estate Development Fund. And lastly, for the Special Projects Fund, we have $625,100 increase in the Preschool Promise Fund. This is to provide a budget authority for the 2025, and the budget authority is coming from the liquidation of 2024 encumbrance. So this is not in addition to the Preschool Promise allocations. Okay. So on the second slide here, starting at the Special Revenue Fund, that has a small increase. There's only one fund in the Special Revenue Fund category, which is a $48,800 increase in the Fair Housing Program. It's funded from the new HUD allocation that we recently received. After that, we have General Capital. For the General Capital Fund, we have $10.9 million increase. Highlighting major adjustment for the projects funded from early declaration of intent ahead of the debt issuance for 2026. $4.2 million is for the Helena Street renovations, for the EPOD renovation that is located at the Helena Street, and then $2 million is for the on Main improvement, which includes development of the former Montgomery County Fairgrounds. And $4.69 million is for the phase 3 of the Kettering Fields renovations. For aviation operating funds, there is a total of $319,300 increase. We are adding this to include things like $75,000 for the winter fuel, $12,000 is for X-ray machines, $34,000 is for rooftop boiler inspections, $20,000 for roof repairs, $30,000 for elevator repairs, and a number of other smaller items like gate maintenance, appraisals, consulting cost, and cleaning supplies. For water and sewer operating funds on the debt service side, $937,900 of accrued interest from 2016 will be used to pay down 2018 debt, and that is for the water operating fund. For sewer operating, we are doing something similar where we're using $1.45 million to pay down 2020 debt, with the accrued interest from 2015. This is a fiscally prudent practice to reduce the future obligations. And then in addition to that, in the sewer operating fund, we are also adding $44,700 to restore budget for purchase order for 2024 purchase order that was accidentally closed. For water capital, this is the bulk of the increase for the second revised appropriation, which is $150 million. This is to fund the pre-construction of the advanced PFAS treatment project. This is being supported by the Ohio EPA's principal forgiveness loan. And then lastly, we have $190,000 increase in the Public Works Fleet Shop, and this is to cover the overtime cost that is needed for the remainder of the year. And that is the extent of the $166.4 million adjustment for the second revised appropriation.
Okay.
Questions?
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Turner-Sloss?
Yes, just a point of clarity for the $1.4 million. Once this is in fact before the commission for approval, that would definitely need to be voted on separately because all of us were not in agreements with that, that dollar amount.
So today is the first reading?
Right, I understand.
Yes, that's
I'm just
first
making a
reading.
point for a record that that is noted because you're absolutely right. Yep. Just making that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Points clear? Commissioner Fairchild?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Can I have a motion then to approve the city manager's recommendations?
Thank you, Ms. Patel-Jones.
I move that we adopt the city manager's recommendation.
Second, Your Honor.
Okay, it's been probably moved and seconded to approve the city manager's recommendations. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay, legislation, then Ms. Blackshear.
First reading ordinance number 32159-25, amending the city's appropriations for the year 2025. Second reading ordinance number 32157-25, appropriating property designated as parcels 13SH and 25T in connection with the Finley Street reconstruction project. Mayor Mims.
Aye.
Commissioner Fairchild.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner-Sloss.
Aye.
Second reading ordinance number 32158-25, amending sections 150.130.3A5, 150.130.7, 150.130.8B, 150.130.8D, and 150.130.9A of the Revised Code of General Ordinances relating to the zoning code. Mayor Mims.
Aye.
Commissioner Fairchild.
Aye.
Turner-Sloss.
Aye.
First reading resolution number 6887-25, authorizing the necessary tax levies, requesting the advance payment by the Montgomery County, Ohio, to the city of Dayton, Ohio, of tax monies collected for 2026, certifying the same to the county auditor. And that concludes legislation, Your Honor.
Okay. So, public hearing now. Mr. Parlett.
Yes, we
begin?
do have a public hearing. I'd like to invite Planning Staff Member Cameron Goshinsky to present.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is Cameron Goshinsky. I'm a planner here at the city within our planning division. And this evening, I'll be going over a proposed rezoning as well as a planned development that's located within the Wright View neighborhood. This evening, we're looking specifically at 200 South Wright Avenue. So give me one moment to pull up the presentation and then we can get started. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is a proposed rezoning at 200 South Wright Avenue. This is a rezoning from ER4 as well as OS. It's a split zone parcel, so it's a single family zoned parcel as well as park open space. That's the ER4 and OS. And the request is to rezone to EMF, which is eclectic multifamily. And with that rezoning, the applicant is also requesting a planned development overlay, which would permit a 118-unit assisted senior living facility. So the applicant is Marion Development Group, and they are here as well in case you have any questions. As I mentioned, the planning district is right view within the northeast land use geography. So here's a look at the zoning for this site. As I mentioned, it's split zone, so it's ER4 and OS. That's that yellow and green that you see there on the screen. And this property is a bit unique because it fronts on 3 separate streets. So you have East 5th Street there on the north, South Wright Avenue on the west, and Burkhart Avenue along the southern property line. And here's a look at the aerial for the site. You can see it's predominantly grass with some street trees that front along each street. And also want to point out that this site is the former location of the Orville Wright Elementary School. It was constructed in the 1950s and demoed in 2010. So for about 15 years now, this site's been vacant. And here is a look at the concept plan that was submitted as part of this application. And something I do want to point out as well, since this is just the rezoning and the plan development, if the rezoning does get approved this evening, the applicant would be required to come back for final plan, and that would be before Plan Board at a later date. So we're just looking today at the rezoning and the plan development, but just want you to have a chance to take a look at the concept plan that was submitted as part of this application. So you can see, let's get my cursor. Here is the building. It's an assisted senior living facility. What they're showing is it facing towards South Wright Avenue. And do want to highlight a few points that are marked in red. In terms of open space as part of this concept plan, they're actually proposing to keep just about 77% of the site as open space and leave it untouched. So just remain as is. They're also showing a larger setback. That's that 127 that you see there on the screen. A larger setback from the existing single-family residences that exist along South Wright Avenue. So just making sure it's not towering on the street. It's set back far enough to provide minimal impact on the existing residences that are there. And they're also showing a crosswalk/sidewalk that extends from the building entrance. I just want to point out that this was actually just a request of the plan board. So the applicant is already making steps to touch up the concept plan based off of recommendations of the plan board. So we certainly appreciate that. Here's a look at the landscaping plan. Just want you to have a chance to take a look at this. They are showing landscaping with additional street trees, and this is all in compliance with our zoning code. Here were a look at some renderings that were provided during this application, so you can see what the building could look like. 4-story, again, assisted senior living facility. So this rendering is essentially as if you're from the parking lot, taking a look at the front of the building. And here's a look if you were looking across from South Wright Avenue. So they're also proposing that additional buffer that you see there on the other side of South Wright. In terms of staff analysis, I've covered the first point already, but just want to point out, again, the building design, the site layout, that comes back for final plan before plan board. So we're just looking at the rezoning this evening. In terms of the open space, the landscaping, screening, the setbacks, this site is certainly being developed based off the concept plan to provide a minimal impact, not only on this site, but on the existing single-family residences that are in the area, and to provide more of a campus-like feel where it has the additional landscaping, the buffer, designed to have a smaller impact than if it was up towards the property and more of the site would actually be developed. Also want to point out that this is in alignment with the objectives and common themes of both the Northeast Neighborhood Visions Plan, which calls for providing more housing within the Right View neighborhood, and also in compliance with the City Comprehensive Plan, which outlines providing more housing that supports aging in place. So it's in alignment with both of those plans as well. And then in terms of public process, I just want to highlight a bit of the steps that were taken in terms of community engagement, because this went through more of an extensive process since this is more of a prominent site within the Right View neighborhood. So those 3 bullet points that you see at the top, those weren't required, but staff just really wanted to make sure that residents and you were aware of what this proposal actually is. So on July 24th, staff conducted a site visit down in Jeffersonville, Indiana. We took a look at an existing location that's down there. It's referred to as Vivera Jeffersonville. And staff felt that this was a very well-maintained facility. We also had a chance to speak with Mayor Mike Moore down in Jeffersonville, and he had full support for not only the development down there, but expanding this development to, around to other cities. On July 28th, a public meeting was held by the applicant at the Dayton Metro Library Southeast Branch to make sure residents were aware. On August 5th, staff canvassed with adjacent neighbors along South Wright Avenue and East 5th Street, and that was just to make sure residents were aware of this proposal, as well as the upcoming meetings regarding this case. And then ultimately, in terms of recommendations, the Northeast Land Use Board made a recommendation unanimously to approve as submitted. City Plan Board unanimously recommended approval as well, and planning staff recommends approval. So here are your commission alternatives. You can either approve, remand this back to the plan board, or deny this application. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that you have in regards to the process, but also if you have any questions for Marion Development Group, they could certainly talk to you more about the use.
Okay, so first, Ms. Blackshear, do we have any citizens who are wishing to speak on this issue?
None on the public hearing, Your Honor.
Okay, good. So, Commissioners, questions?
Yes, I just have one
Mr.
question.
Turner-Sloss?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one quick question. First, tell me, how do you pronounce your last name again? I apologize.
It's Goshinsky.
Goshinsky. Thank you, Mr. Goshinsky. If I messed that up in the end, please forgive me. But thank you for the presentation this evening. Just quick question, and perhaps it may be to the applicant, but is the facility public or private? In terms of that, just out of curiosity, for the 118 units?
I believe private, but that would certainly be a good question for the applicant.
Okay.
Applicants?
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's
evening.
Mike Huber. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Dinsmore & Scholl. I'm outside counsel for Marion Development Group. We have a representative of Marion with us tonight, Mr. Jared Burgess. Happy to answer any questions that commission may have. Regarding your question, Commissioner, this is a privately owned facility. However, something that was maybe not covered was this is an affordable senior housing facility, so this will be hopefully receiving OFA funding, and then there are also Medicare waiver availability, and we can go into more details on sort of what that process looks like and who qualifies into the senior category, but these facilities mainly serve folks in the community. So as opposed to an assisted living facility or an independent living facility that's market rate that may take people from just the general Montgomery and Greene County area as a whole, this will almost certainly serve Dayton.
Okay.
Yeah, these tend to fill up very fast. As many people know, there's a large shortage of senior housing in Southwest Ohio, and especially affordable senior housing. So this is a fully affordable senior housing product.
Okay. Last question, and I know we are in the infancy stage, if you will, but what is the overall timeline?
I can speak to that. Again, I'm Jared Burgess with Marion Development. We've already made some great headway on our due diligence and our design. As Mike mentioned, we will be submitting an application for housing tax credits and bonds through OFA.
Yeah.
We intend to submit in a matter of weeks, and we have been through this process before with OFA, and their review and approval timeline runs about 5 to 6 months. So that gives us plenty of time to be prepared to close on financing, have our design finalized, work with your permitting department to be ready to go on construction about 6 months from our application date.
Okay.
Which would be, somewhere mid Q1 of next year.
Okay. Thank you. The only comment that I will provide is that I'm sure you all are working with the staff, the planning staff in particular, with Ms. Geist, and understand that OFA has changed, the tax credit has changed some of their criteria and the scoring and all of that. So I'm glad that you will be working very closely with staff as you work through that process.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks.
Well, thank you both. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Good, thank you. Commissioner Fairchild?
Yeah. Do you have any other facilities in Dayton already in the Dayton market?
Not in Dayton. We have a portfolio in Indiana, and we have a facility exactly like this one under construction in Cincinnati. This will be our first Dayton property. We're very excited about it. Okay. And we're actually exploring further opportunities within the city.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
And then I had a question for Mr. Gosinski. And I noticed that this fits within the vision plan in terms of recognizing we've wanted to have some facilities for aging in place so residents can stay in those neighborhoods. This property is in close proximity to the Wright Brothers School. Was there any thought about trying to do family-oriented housing in that location, given the close proximity to the school?
Nothing that I'm aware of. Nothing that I'm aware of now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we'll have plenty of business for you, I'm sure. So thank you for your first project.
Yep. Thank you, and I'll take a moment to just toot the horn for staff. They've been wonderful to work with. The city should be very proud of the planning and zoning staff that you have. They vetted this project thoroughly to make sure that the city got the absolute best product they could, and were amazing to work with along the way. So the city should be very proud of the staff that they have.
Okay.
Thank you
We
for
are.
staying in
Thank you for those comments.
We are proud. Thank you very much.
Mayor,
Yes.
there is one citizen who registered to speak
Okay, Mr.
for the public hearing.
Okay.
I would like to state that there's a 3-minute time limit. I call to the podium Ann O'Brien.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ann.
Wait till you get the mic. Hold on a second. We don't want to steal any time from you.
Mayor Mims, we met before.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ann O'Brien. I live on East Fifth, so I'm affected by the resolution. One of the things I want to point out that the park was sold in 2016, and in 2022 we had a meeting, and it was brought to your attention that the park was sold. We've had all kinds of problems over the past few years. There's people living in the woods, which the city, fire department, and police department feed them and clothe them. On Easter, a lady came down on the property that they own and set 3 fires to a tree. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous to be there. We have wildlife that have lived there since the 1940s when it was given to the city of Dayton. And we have foxes that are born there, deer that are born there, and pigeons, or not pigeons, geese that come twice a year to migrate. This is their home. We're going to be throwing them out of there. You're going to have problems with the people from the woods because they've gotten used to being up there. They've been told it's a sanctuary city and they can't be tossed out. They're dangerous. They do drugs on this man's property. They bring shopping carts full of stuff. The house next door to me was broken into just a week ago. Somebody's sleeping in there. So it's a very dangerous part. Plus, I'm used to assisted living places because I worked for healthcare for 30 years. And if somebody wants a adolescent or small child to visit the grandparents, all they got to do is fix the code on the door, and they can enter when they want, and so will the homeless. This is a very dangerous proposition, I think, and one that needs to be really, really looked into. I would be interested, and the gentleman did not say anything about it, about the core drilling that went on, because they came back 3 times and took 3 different samples. You know, I don't know why. So if I don't know why years ago, when the city still owned the property, they just didn't take over the school part and use it as a recreation center, because the playground equipment was there, the pool was there, everything was there. But I think the firefighters have been out 9 times in less than 2 years for fires on this person's property. This is dangerous. And anybody who doesn't believe me can come visit. We had a problem at the meeting you were at, Mayor Mims, in 2022. When we were going home, there's all kinds of cars parked on that
Ms. O'Brien,
lot.
thank you for your comments.
And the cars
Ms.
were...
O'Brien, thank you for your comments.
I'm done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms.
So
O'Brien?
you don't want to hear? Cut me off. Good God. Where's those other guys, though?
That was the one citizen, Your Honor.
That was the one citizen?
Your Honor, yes.
Okay, if you would leave your remaining comments with Ms. Jackson, please. Ms. Jackson is sitting right in front of you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Paulette, is that it?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll close the public hearing. What's the will of the body?
Move forward.
Yes, move forward.
Move forward?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move forward. Mr. Parlett?
Mayor, the legislation implementing zoning case number PLN 2025-0000212 will be ordinance number 32160-25. The ordinance will receive a first reading only.
Okay.
First reading ordinance number 32160-25, amending the official zoning map to establish Plan Development 193 and change the underlying zoning from eclectic single-family residential, ER4, and OS, Park Open Space, to eclectic multifamily, EMF, for 8.79 acres at 200 South Wright Avenue. And that concludes the legislation, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Ms. Blackshear, do we have any citizens who are registered to speak?
There are 17 citizens who have registered. I would like to state that there is a 3-minute time limit. As you address the commission, we ask that you state your name and address for the record. At that time, I will turn on the green light. When the green light comes on, you will have 3 minutes to speak. After you have spoken 2.5 minutes, a yellow light will come on. You will have 30 seconds remaining to speak. When the red light comes on, you will be asked to cease your comments and to take your seat. To the audience in attendance, please be mindful this is a business meeting, and we kindly request that during this portion of the meeting, you refrain from any hand clapping, finger snapping, and conversations that will prevent the City Commission from hearing the speaker's comments. I call to the podium Saber Cross.
Good evening.
Name and address for the record.
My name is Saber Cross, and my address is 368 Chaucer Road, Dayton, Ohio, 45431.
You may begin.
Hello, my name is Saber Cross, and I have been happy to call Dayton my home since 2016. I am here as a queer man to urge you to pass the Safe Haven Resolution, declaring Dayton a safe and welcoming city for members of the LGBTQ+ community. I would like to take a few moments to tell you what this resolution would mean to me and my community members. As a visibly queer man, I have had to learn to be acutely aware of my surroundings and those around me for my own safety. I'm aware of every person who stares angrily at my husband and I when we hold hands. I'm on edge in public restrooms, and I take note of every instance of political imagery that indicates someone might pose a safety risk, whether it's a sign, hat, or shirt. But I also notice every pride flag hung up in windows and alongside entryways, every employee name badge with pronouns, and every window or garden sign that says that all are welcome here. Even small indicators such as these let us know that we can feel a little bit safer, that we can let our guard down, enough to feel welcome in the spaces that make these efforts to say, you are safe here. I'm frequently asked by friends and acquaintances from other states why I would choose to stay in Ohio. I know they ask because it is no secret that so many queer folks have been scrambling to flee from red states, abandoning their homes for their own safety or for that of their family, as is the case for many parents of transgender kids. Both successful and unsuccessful attempts at the state level to ban gender-affirming care, restrict bathroom use, and refusal to issue updated sex markers on identification have made it clear that we as queer folks aren't welcome in many red states, Ohio included. However, when my friends ask me why I stay, I get to tell them about Dayton, my home. I get to tell them about the Oregon District with all of its pride flags and LGBTQ welcoming establishments, such as Hart Mercantile, Rebel Rebel Tattoo, and Blind Rage Records, all of which are staples of the community. I get to tell them about the Dayton Silent Disco, whose annual Pride Disco is my favorite Pride Month event, and I get to tell them about Equitas Health, whose staff ensures that Dayton's LGBTQ community, myself included, have access to safe and accessible health care, not only for gender-affirming care, but for a wide range of health care needs. I tell them that I stay here because the heart of Dayton is queer positive, and it is made up of members of our community and our allies who are dedicated to making the city safe and welcoming for all, one pride flag at a time. So I'm asking you, if you care about the city and its LGBTQ members, to put policy where your mouth is. Dayton can allow as many pride festivals as it wants. We can put up banners telling our citizens to do your thing, but how can we truly say that Dayton is a safe place for the queer community if the city itself won't officially call itself such and back up such a title with policy? I am proud to call Dayton my home, but how can I continue to feel that way if those in power aren't proud to say that my community is safe and welcome here? Please make Dayton a safe haven. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your comments.
Charlene Bayless.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Charlene Bayless, 2422 Patterson Boulevard, 45409. On this 21st century Earth, within the overarching challenge of climate change and environment pollution, is the challenge for each family of our family's health. Health, a human right. It is exciting that in 2025, Dayton will become a human rights city. Thank you. Citizens must wake up each morning with a wholeness of spirit and mind and an energized, functioning body and get on with life. So much goes into each morning, and so much goes awry when it gets out of whack. Help is needed. Across the United States, inner city and rural hospitals are closing. A big chunk of help went away in Dayton, Ohio in 2018. Premier Health announced that Good Samaritan, the hospital given in perpetuity to the people of Dayton by the Sisters of Charity in the early 1900s, much of the money raised by the people of Dayton would be closed and demolished. 7 years of clergy community coalition work is allowing the citizens of Dayton to vote for a public hospital that will serve all of Dayton's people, including those with little or no insurance. Issue 9 is on the November 4, 2025 ballot. The cost for homeowners is $35 a year for each $100,000 of home value. Additional resources are being built through a process used by government, nonprofit organizations, and businesses, an old process with a name new to many, Capital Stack. Capital Stack, the resources to get a project done. To get going, one has a bottom layer, perhaps a tax or grant or gift or government contribution. Additional layers are added as they are obtained. The bottom layer of the Dayton Public Hospital is the need and will of the citizens. More layers are in place and in process. Not all layers are in place at the start of any project. Election 2025, vote yes on issue 9 for the good of your family, the city of Dayton, and the greater Dayton region.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Rick Flynn.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Rick Flynn. My address is 136 North St. Clair Street, Dayton, Ohio, 45402.
They begin.
Mayor Mims, commissioners, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Again, my name is Rick Flynn, and I come to you as Executive Director of the Greater Dayton LGBT Center and also a lifelong citizen of Dayton. I'm here to urge you to pass the Safe Haven Resolution to protect our transgender, non-binary, and gender-expansive neighbors, and to direct to the fullest lawful extent that Dayton will not use city resources to enforce House Bill 68, Senate Bill 104, and House Bill 8. Dayton has a proud record of being on the right side of LGBTQ+ rights. I've had the privilege of meeting a few of you personally. I've seen some of you at Pride, and you've always shown me to be someone who has a good heart. Whether you're speaking from the stage or marching with families at Pride, it's always a fun time. It's great to show up and be counted. And our community remembers that leadership. We've proven what Dayton Strong really means. It means we stand together and we take care of our own. Tonight is another moment to live to that motto. You know what these state laws do. The question before you is, what will Dayton do? Dayton is a city of practical compassion. We solve problems, we care for one another. A safe haven resolution turns those values into policy. Within our home rule authority, we will not investigate, endorse, or facilitate compliance with measures that harm LGBTQ+ residents and their families. We will keep providers focused on care, teachers focused on teaching, and first responders focused on safety, not politics. This is not radical. This is responsible. It clarifies priorities for law enforcement, it protects medical privacy and student confidentiality, and it keeps city facilities welcoming and accessible to all. It signals to businesses and talent that Dayton is a place where people can live authentically and work without fear. And it tells our LGBTQ+ youth who are watching that this city will not turn its back on them. You'll hear warnings about lawsuits and hypotheticals, but leadership is choosing people over politics and setting clear, lawful priorities. Cities across the country have shown that values-based governance is possible and prudent. Dayton can do the same. So on behalf of Greater Dayton LGBT Center and the many residents who need this protection, I respectfully ask you to pass the Safe Haven resolution so Dayton remains a beacon of safety.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn.
Dominic Stratton.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, and staff. My name is Dominic Stratton, and I'm a resident of 7504 Mount Whitney Street, Dayton, Ohio, 45424. I'm here to speak on a matter of profound humanitarian concern that directly resonates with the people of Dayton, that being the ongoing crisis in Gaza and Greater Palestine. The World Health Organization reports the healthcare system has collapsed, hospitals have been destroyed and are operating without power, water, or essential supplies. The number of casualties, a significant percentage being women and children, is staggering and continues to grow daily. At this point, all the people of Gaza are being held under siege as political prisoners by Israel, which is why, despite my efforts, I have been unable to contact anyone with the ability or authority to evacuate injured civilians. This includes multiple families I actively raise money for and speak to in Gaza who need immediate medical evacuation. My dear friend Hussein has entered a horrible mental state and simply wants to be allowed to leave so that he may get life-saving surgery for his brother Amjad, who needs multiple skin grafts and a bone graft surgery. I'm calling on the United States and government to immediately evacuate his brother from Gaza. Any delay will lead to serious deterioration of his health and may result in permanent disability. Additionally, Amjad and his sisters are in desperate need of financial support to buy essential medications, secure safe shelter, and access to food and other basic necessities. My friend Muhammad needs surgery on his foot. He's in great physical pain. My friend Dua has 7 children. She cannot sleep because she defends her children from rats, bombs, and stray dogs at night. I've been provided with no means to help my friends. Holding them as political prisoners is unconscionable. Dayton is known as the birthplace of the Dayton Peace Accords. Our city has a legacy of championing diplomatic solutions to end terrible conflicts. What is happening in Gaza is the absolute antithesis to that spirit of peace. The issue touches our community here in Dayton. We have families right here who are grieving for loved ones in Gaza. Their pain is our community's pain. Their call for a ceasefire and humanitarian relief is a call for our support. I'm not asking the council to solve an international conflict. I'm asking you to add Dayton's voice to the growing chorus of American cities calling for humanity. I urge you to draft and pass a resolution calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire, the unconditional release of all hostages, and the immediate massive flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. Further, Furthermore, I ask that the city reaffirm its commitment to peace and condemn all forms of bigotry, including anti-Semitism, Islamophobia that have risen here at home as a result of this war. A vote for such a resolution is not a political statement. It's a humanitarian one. It's a statement that the people of Dayton stand for life, for peace, and for the fundamental principle that every human being deserves to live with safety and dignity. I pray and hope for a future where I can tell my children and my children's children that in the face of great adversity and genocide, the people and leadership of Dayton, Ohio, fought against what is clearly a moral failure of humanity and a stain on the reputation of this great nation. I hope the council understands fully great injustice anywhere in the world threatens the justice of every single citizen and free-thinking person in this world in the Dayton community. Thank you for your time and consideration. I hope I can count on your leadership. If you want to support these families, you can follow me at Steezus_Sicarius on Instagram. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Could you please take a copy of this for your records? Have a good night.
Thank you.
B. Williams.
Hello, my name is B. Williams. I live at 1331 Cherry Hill Avenue, Miamisburg.
May begin.
Good evening.
Good evening. I am once again in front of this commission to ask you to consider the Safe Haven resolution and vocalize my support. This resolution would not be the first of its kind. In fact, the Ohio and Q+ community celebrated a huge win on April 15th of this year as Whitehall passed their own Safe Haven resolution, outlining protections for both their LGBT and immigrant communities. This victory in Whitehall came just a month after the Athens City Council passed a measure declaring the city a safe haven for trans individuals and advocating against criminal prosecution for those providing or seeking gender-affirming services. When last we spoke, I shared some data with you collected by the Trevor Project, including the alarming statistic that 52% of Q+ Ohioans wish to flee the hostile political climate in this state. Today, I would like to dive deeper into what would make us feel so strongly that we would flee our homes. Our state is one of the 28 states in this country that have zero LGBT non-discrimination policies in place. From May of 2024 to May of 2025, we have seen 50 reported anti-LGBT hate crimes that have resulted in injury or deaths. We have seen the mass closure of clinics that provided us with safe access to gender-affirming care as a direct result of the hostile anti-trans legislature passed in our state. I came here to speak to you today as more than just a transgender individual seeking to protect their own health care. I am here today as a healthcare worker myself. I am here as a volunteer at a local soup kitchen down the street, and as someone who grew up here to ask this commission again what kind of city we want to be. Because to me, Dayton Strong means this community shows up for its friends, its neighbors, its workers, and its students. To me, Dayton Strong means we protect each other regardless of our differences. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Sophia Folkerts. Name and
Good
address for the
evening.
record.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Sophia Folkerts. I'm a resident of the Greater Dayton area and a proud member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I'm here to talk about the Safe Haven resolution that has been presented to the Commissioners, and I think that's the most important thing to me, that this resolution has been presented already. Resolutions of this type have been passed across the state of Ohio, from Cincinnati to Athens, and yet in Dayton, we seem to see nothing but hesitation from our elected officials. As a trans woman living in Ohio, this terrifies me. Right-wing attacks against me and my community grow stronger and more virulent every day. Just recently, as an example, the right wing has tried to take away our right to bear arms by falsely associating our community with gun violence. These attacks will only get worse from here. My friends in the trans community near universally are considering leaving the state in fear of just how bad things will get for us if these attacks are allowed to continue. Passing this resolution is the absolute bare minimum the city of Dayton can do to make its trans citizens and neighbors feel safe and to help us feel like we actually belong to the city of Dayton. And this is, of course, only speaking for my own community. If this is the level of hesitation we see for the LGBT+ community, then I am forced to wonder what the city would ever do for our poor neighbors or for our immigrant neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Alec Johnson.
My name is Alec Johnson, 4822 in Dayton's lovely Eastern Hills. I'm a proud member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Let me begin with this quote. First, they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. This speech is attributed to Martin Niemöller, the Lutheran minister from Germany who resisted the Nazis and was persecuted for his heroism. Niemöller gave variations of these remarks, sometimes changing up the list of people who were betrayed. In that spirit, and keeping with the actual history of Nazi Germany, I would start with, first they came for the trans community, and I did not speak out because I was not a trans person. We could go on, but let's turn to history. Founded in 1919, Berlin's Institute for Sexual Science was the first of its kind. The institute pioneered research and treatment for various matters regarding gender, sexuality, and much more. By 1933, the institute was savagely destroyed by the Nazis. Not long after, Q+ people were rounded up and sent to concentration camps in large numbers. All the other groups Niemöller mentioned followed shortly thereafter. The parallels between Hitler's Germany and Trump's America can no longer be ignored. Battle lines are being drawn. The lyrics from the song, "Which Side Are You On?" rush forward from the past with fresh urgency. We must ask our elected officials in the city of Dayton, which side are you on? Middle ground disappears now from under our feet, and we will all have to answer the question, which side are you on? Beyond attacking the Q+ community, the Trump regime is mobilizing attacks against immigrants. They're blamed for problems caused by billionaires who conveniently find them a useful distraction for the billionaires' failures. The Party for Socialism and Liberation stands with the immigrant community, and together we ask, which side are you on? BIPOC communities are under additional attack nationwide under the guise of addressing imaginary deficiencies with DEI. PSL stands with these communities. Which side are you on? Women's rights have been rolled back and are under attack by those who would strip that from them every gain they've made over the last century and beyond. PSL stands with the women of the world and for their liberation. Which side are you on? Unions are under attack, yet rising up like never before. We see unions standing in solidarity with Q+ members, immigrants, women, and the Palestinian people. That's quite a solid answer to the question, which side are you on? Americans in growing majorities are now making the connection between the oppression and the gruesome genocide of the Palestinian people. Increasingly, we know without a shadow of a doubt which side we are on. We stand with the international working class united in worldwide solidarity. The Safe Haven Resolution before the Dayton Commissioners affords our community an unmissable opportunity to let Gem City shine brightly as a beacon of hope and solidarity. Let no one doubt which side we are on. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Ebony Hastings. Name and address for the record.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ebony Hastings, 1238 Wabash Avenue, Dayton, Ohio, 45405. I want to speak to the disparity of resources and opportunity between West Dayton and East Dayton, which stems from several systemic factors, including historical disinvestment by local government. You all are the local government. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, West Dayton's poverty rate is around 40%, while East Dayton is at 20%. The city manager earns between $207,000 to $271,000, and our two deputy city managers earn nearly $120,000 annually, nearly 4 to 5 times the average Dayton worker salary of $54,000. Despite this disparity, she continues to disinvest in West Dayton, influenced by her residents in East Dayton. As a subordinate to the mayor and commission, she should follow their direction, not give them direction. We, the citizens of Dayton, respectfully demand her retirement and request the current administration to consider this matter. It is very questionable to silence a commissioner from asking questions and to create arbitrary rules to avoid transparency while the city of Dayton considers allocating another $1.4 million for renovating the Key Bank building, and the scope of work has not changed when there are no funds for much-needed hospital to serve the community health care needs, given the large number of patients that Good Samaritans serve. Recently, West Dayton received less than 10% of the city's infrastructure funding, highlighting a significant disparity in development. As you prepare this year's budget, we urge you to prioritize the need of this side of the river and ensure that all areas of Dayton receive their fair and adequate funding with no neighborhoods neglected. If the city can afford a city manager and 2 deputy city managers earning 6 figures, why aren't frontline workers paid better? Instead of fearing the higher pay isn't justified, focus on creating a positive work culture. Why aren't more positions created and filled in the trash department? Cutting the salaries of the city manager and the deputy city manager could fund more staffing, helping West Dayton avoid decline. Is having 2 deputy city managers necessary? Where is the data to justify this? Why are the frontline staff paid significantly lower than those of the administrative staff? I am advocating for policy changes as a citizen. I am asking for increased funding and resources for West Dayton's economic development, education grants, healthcare initiative, community engagement, reestablish our priority boards, give Dayton residents a voice in local governance and resources allocation. Waste collection and door hangers should be left for residents if there's a reason that waste isn't collected. I demand no peace officers to be sent to my street as retaliation, and I urge authorities to stop intimidating residents, focusing instead on revitalizing the entire city, not just downtown. I call for true servant leadership rooted in respect, character, and the use of prayer is very superficial, and I know that most of you will be unlikely to respond, but Turner's best practice should be adopted by all of you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Ms.
thank you for
Hayden.
your comments.
Liz Hudson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Elizabeth Hudson, 130 West 2nd Street, Dayton, Ohio.
You may begin.
Thanks. Mayor, commissioners, Clerk Blackshear, Deputy Manager Parlett, thanks for the chance to be here tonight. I think you all already know I'm an attorney with Advocates for Basic Legal Equality, and I represent the Dayton Q Plus Collective, Safe Haven Community Collective. And I'm here again not only to ask the city to adopt a safe haven resolution in support of LGBTQ plus individuals, but to ask that it be adopted quickly. At the August 20th meeting, this commission responded positively to community testimony for a safe haven resolution. You indicated it's in legal review. Advocates left hopeful last month. But no safe haven resolution has come up yet for deliberation or for vote. No one's reached out with any questions. So why? The collective came to Dayton first because the city built a reputation as a welcoming place for Q plus people. It was actions from this commission that built this reputation. In 2007, Dayton had a gender identity and sexual orientation to its discrimination enforcement laws more than a decade before Bostock. In 2017, Dayton banned conversion therapy because it risked the health of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. Dayton was an early adopter in the state of Ohio. Past actions are important, but Dayton needs to renew its commitment to the Q plus community, especially transgender and gender expansive individuals. By adopting a resolution now, the city can embrace love and peace and undermine bigotry we're seeing everywhere. The collective used models from within the state for the draft resolution that they've already sent I believe in July. Many places, as you've heard, have already adopted similar resolutions. In 2025 alone, Athens, Cleveland Heights, Whitehall, they've all mentioned gender-affirming care. They've even mentioned HB 68's ban on puber blockades as puberty blockers as harms to transgender, non-binary, and gender-expansive youth. Columbus and Cincinnati have gone further. They passed resolutions prior than this year, but this year they both created advisory councils to recommend policies, programs, and actions to learn how to better support Q+ people in their communities. By passing actions in 2025, they recognize the importance of this moment to celebrate Q+ individuals, especially transgender and gender-expansive people. They offer a welcoming message in the face of 1,000 state bills across the country that negatively target Q+ people.
Thank you for
your comments.
Thank you.
You leave the additional information with Ms. Jackson.
I appreciate it. I'll email it and follow up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sophie, 3.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Name and address for the record, please.
Sophie 3, 136 North St. Clair Street. Good evening. I'm here today to urge this commission to propose and adopt the Safe Haven resolution that has been submitted for your consideration. As a trans woman who found her community in Dayton, whose transition would not have been possible without Dayton, and in particular Equitas Health, this is very important to me and those I love. I and other members of this collective who support this resolution were initially heartened to hear that this commission was taking it seriously. I fear now that we are not being heard. We appreciate that in 2007, Dayton added gender identity to its anti-discrimination ordinance, and in 2017 banned conversion therapy. These were positive steps. However, we are in different times and must reorient to face the challenges in front of us. The current anti-discrimination ordinance leaves us vulnerable because, as we have seen in the UK, a government can say we are protected based on transgender status while at the same time rule that we cannot be treated like our cisgender counterparts of the same gender. In other words, I could be protected for being trans but not for being a woman. We have already seen in the U.S., and more specifically here in Ohio, attempts to impose a binary, immutable definition of sex and gender with the intent of erasing the trans community through law. We have seen attempts to argue that transition is unnecessary and therefore not worthy of protection. The anti-discrimination ordinance does not protect a person's right to transition or to gender-affirming care. It does not protect access to gender-appropriate spaces and services. It does not protect the privacy of Q+ individuals from government overreach. It does not protect healthcare providers and other professionals who interact with the Q+ community. It is tempting to rest on past successes. The past few years have shown us just how dangerous complacency is. The reversal of Roe v. Wade and attacks on civil rights and voting rights show us that the progress left untended can quickly, shockingly be undone. The Q+ community right now needs leaders willing to stand up to those who would single us out, dehumanize us, and erase us. We need continuing action. We need a reminder. This resolution is one step. I hope you'll have the courage to take it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moss Dickey.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Moss Dickey, and I'm a resident of the city of Dayton. Well, greetings, Dayton City Commission. I am once again here to speak in favor of the for the city of Dayton to adopt the Safe Haven resolution. When I last spoke to all of you, you took the time after remarks were over to speak about your support for the queer community and your past support. In fact, Mayor Mims, you pointed me out specifically. And yet, a month later, I don't see a fucking resolution.
Please refrain from that language.
All right.
Thank you.
A resolution, I might add, that in some form or another has already been adopted by 3 other cities. Right now, the queer community, and especially my trans siblings, are under direct attack from the political right. What we need right now is support, with action, not words. This resolution is an action you can take right now. And, I might add again, it is the bare minimum. There are other cities doing more right now to support my siblings in the trans community and the queer community in general. And it is disgraceful that this commission has not done more to support us. Shameful. I am once again asking you to put forward this resolution out of legal, even though it was written by a lawyer and in some form or another has been approved by other cities. This should have been easy. I shouldn't have had to be here twice, and I am. And I will be here again and again and again until you get the idea and pass the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Brenda Alexander.
Hi, my name is Brenda Alexander, address 531 Belmont Park North, Dayton, Ohio 45405.
Maybe again.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. My name's Brenda Alexander, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my fellow residents of Park Lane Apartments. Since the property was taken over by Peak 10 Properties, the quality of life for the tenants has declined dramatically. I feel it's urgent to bring these conditions to your attention because they do not only diminish our daily lives, but also raise serious safety and compliance concerns. First, Park Lane is not ADA compliant. There are no alternative plans in place for residents with disabilities during emergencies, leaving some of our most vulnerable neighbors at risk. During recent fire alarm evacuations and water leaks, residents who use wheelchairs or walkers have no safe or accessible means of exit. This lack of planning and compliance is unacceptable and dangerous. Walls on floors 6, 7, and 8 have completely pulled apart from the building. They had to have structural engineers come in, and they have the wood. I have the pictures that I would like to leave so you can look at those. Second, many residents are dealing with mold growth inside their apartments, which pose serious health concerns, especially for those with asthma. Also children and seniors. Reports of defective air conditioners are widespread. Some residents have been left for weeks without functioning cooling units during the hottest moments of the month. Third, the garage continues to flood after heavy rain, creating unsafe conditions and damaging vehicles. At the same time, some hallways are stained and leaked, and during storms, leaving standing water and slippery surfaces that are hazardous to residents of all ages. These issues are well known to the owner, but repairs are delayed or handled superficially without long-term solutions. Finally, there is a consistent delay in maintenance response times. Tenants often often wait weeks or months for basic repairs despite repeated requests. This lack of accountability has left many residents feeling neglected and powerless in their homes. I respectfully ask the Commission to investigate these ongoing violations and to hold Peak 10 Properties accountable for maintaining safe, habitable, and compliant housing. Thank you for your attention to the matter. I look forward to your support ensuring safe housing standards for all Dayton residents.
Okay, please give your contact information to Ms. Jackson. She's sitting right behind you.
Okay.
Right.
And these go here?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Larry Hayden.
Good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening, Mayor Sims. My name is Larry Hayden. I live at 4028 Indian Run Drive, Dayton, Ohio 45415. I want to begin by saying how much it matters that housing is named as one of the pillars in the Dayton strategic plan. But naming the issue is only the first step. What families need now is the follow-up. Day after day, our hotlines hear stories about residents struggling with unsafe, unreliable housing, ceilings caving in, broken furnaces through the winter, water shut off, black mold, and landlords who refuse to take responsibility. These are not just isolated problems. That's why the Housing Trust Fund is such a critical tool. It could make the difference between a family staying in a safe home and a family being forced into homelessness. But today, the fund exists only on paper. Let me just say that. It exists today only on paper. It has no dollar attachment. Without funding, it can't repair a single wall or protect a single child from lead. The city has the power to change this by dedicating local dollars and leveraging state and federal resources. Dayton could make the trust fund real, fund healthy home programs, urgent repairs, tenant relocation assistance, and legal aid. These are just the very solution that tenants have been demanding. Every day means more families left in crisis. Every investment means another Dayton family is safe in their home, and we urge you, don't let this just sit and idle. Fund the Housing Trust Fund and fund it now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Alexander Stone. Name and address for the record.
My name is Alexander Stone. I'm a resident of Dayton, 45405. Thank you for your time and good evening. I'd like to start by thanking the commission members for your verbal affirmations in support of the queer Daytonians and in support of the Safe Haven resolution. Unfortunately, verbal affirmations are not the same as passing this resolution, and additionally, passing this resolution is not the same as providing real, substantial protections for your constituents. How can we trust you to pass true protections for us when such a simple request has been thoroughly delayed? I urge you to pass the Safe Haven resolution and show us that you have more than just kind words to offer. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Destiny Brown.
Good evening.
Good evening. Destiny Brown, 130 West 2nd Street, Suite 700. I'm here as a Dayton resident and an organizer with the Dayton Tenant Union, and to stand in solidarity with community members, our LGBTQ family, our immigrant brothers and sisters, and Park Lane residents, like many tenants in Dayton, who are experiencing horrible conditions issues without proper regulation for support. While we are here to follow up on our request for a housing trust fund to provide access to counsel for tenants, I realize that there have been too many times that community members have come to plead before this body and have consistently been met with deaf ears, specifically by Mayor Mims, Commissioner Shaw, and Commissioner Joseph. Considering that, I feel the need to speak to the underlying issue that impacts all of us. There is a major election this fall in Dayton, and voters are considering whether or not we have the leadership that's visionary to advance the health and safety of our city. Mayor Jeffrey Mims and his team have continued this strategy begun by former Mayor Nan Whaley and City Manager Shelley Dixon, who was hired into that role by Whaley in 2016. This approach has prioritized large-scale downtown projects that funnel taxpayer dollars through rebates and direct financing in order to attract developers. When Mayor Mims announces that Dayton is hot and experiencing an incredible renaissance, he celebrates the spending. But after a decade, we can see that big money does not equate to big results in the lived experiences of ordinary Daytonians. Billions of dollars have been spent to reinvigorate an urban core that will soon be home to 6 hotels, yet small businesses and retail struggle to stay open. The library's been under the strain of serving an unsustainable range of functions while city revenue has gone bonkers. Spending on policing has increased from $98 million in 2014 to $150 million in 2024, yet violence continues to plague our neighborhoods. Dayton is facing its highest unemployment rate since Mayor Mims took office, so we know these investments do not provide jobs for working people in Dayton. As the price of policing has skyrocketed, our city has has gotten less safe and was recently ranked 7th in the nation for murders per capita. Surveillance technology does not protect us and does not deter crime, but it does waste limited resources we could spend on things that work, like community-based public safety interventions. The mayor's initiative to address gun violence has so far not been much more than an election year marketing campaign. Over the last decade, rates of infant mortality and maternal mortality for Black families have risen, while community demands to replace Good Samaritan Hospital in majority Black areas have been obstructed. Local residents lag behind the rest of Ohio and the country in nearly every physical and behavioral health category, according to a 2025 Montgomery County Community Health Assessment. We are simply not directing resources in a way that serves the health and safety of Dayton residents. The lack of tangible results are a scandal for the MEMS and Dixon administration and should be front and center as we approach this election.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Ms.
Appreciate it.
Carson Brubaker.
Hello, good evening. I'm Carson
Good evening.
Brubaker. I live at 1401 Pinecrest Drive, Dayton, Ohio. And I'm a resident, obviously, as well as a local realtor, working with some of the neighbors. They're all here in the back corner. So some of the things we are focusing on are traffic safety, as well as various other improvements. We are requesting that speed tables be added to East Fairview Avenue, Eastview Avenue, Theodore Street, as well as Newport Avenue. So these are all narrow residential streets with pedestrians, and some sections have parking at the curb as well. Drivers are routinely exceeding the posted speed limits. Dayton is already using vertical traffic calming. The city installed speed tables on Gettysburg and is planning additional traffic calming, including 2 speed tables on Philadelphia Drive. So this tool is established locally. Dayton had 684 severe crashes from 2019 to 2023, including 97 fatalities. And about half of those happened on just 5% of our roads, mainly major corridors like 3rd, Main, Gettysburg, and Salem. The city is now creating a federally funded road safety action plan to target these high-risk streets with proven tools like speed tables, road diets, and better crossings. Independent studies show that speed tables cut the 85th percentile speed by about 10 miles per hour and dramatically reduce the share of drivers going over 10 miles per hour. This means that those who are speeding are still driving slower than they would otherwise. Several programs report about 25 to 30% crash reductions after installation. Our ask is simple. If further research is required before the city will agree to install more speed tables at the specified areas, authorize a traffic study and a pilot installation, 1 per street would be lovely, with proper signage, then measure the before and after speed and crashes. We're ready to help circulate the required neighborhood petition and coordinate other various locations with you. My sources, if it does concern you, are the Dayton Daily News, Federal Highway Administration, DaytonOhio.gov, and then ResearchGate, as well as NACTO.org, which websites have independent studies published by various qualified professionals. I will go ahead and leave the screenshots with you, too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments.
Chimaru Watenza.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kimaru Atenza. I live at 1200 West Grand Avenue, Dayton, Ohio.
Good evening.
Since 2019, the U.S. has sent $3.3 billion every year in military aid to the Israeli government. We have also sent $500 million for missile defense. Zero. No dollars have been sent to the Palestinians in their defense of the genocide they are being faced with. Allowing Palestinians to speak before the commission does not represent neutrality. Just since 2019, over 65,000 Palestinians have been killed by the Israeli military. Most of that number were women and children. Dayton's Jewish sister city of Holon is not currently occupied by Palestinians. Dayton's Palestinian sister city of Salfit is currently controlled by the Israeli military. The Jewish Holocaust at the hands of Germany does not give them the right to inflict a similar Holocaust on Palestinians. The money being sent to the Israeli military is the tax dollars that we are paying. So we are an integral part of that genocide. Dayton needs to monetarily divest in Israel. What I'm saying to you is not entirely altruistic. In fact, it's not altruistic at all, because this country has shown for sure that it will inflict the same kind of pain on its black citizens that it is inflicting on Israel right now. We need only look back at what happened in Tulsa or in Florida to those black citizens who had become successful and who had been killed and their resources taken by elements of the U.S. government and its citizens. So I'm asking that this commission do the right thing and divest monetarily in Israel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez, for your comments.
That concludes citizens' comments, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Parlett, do you have any closing comments?
I have none, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Blackshear, any closing comments?
I have none, Your Honor.
Okay. Commissioner Turner-Sloss, any closing comments?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple. I'd like to thank Mr. Cameron Galinsky, the planning staff, and for the presentation this evening for the official zoning map amendment for case number PL 2025-22-00212. Also would like to thank Mr. Mike Hubler as well as Mr. Jerry Burgess for coming out this evening and providing some additional information for the plan, the official zoning map amendment. And then I would also like to recognize Ms. Ann O'Brien for her comments. Thank you, Ms. Jackson, for getting her information. I believe she has had a conversation, or she's in conversation with the developer itself, and hopefully we will be able to address her concerns. And my hope is that with the project itself, it will address the concerns of the illicit behavior. Her point is very valid in terms of the wildlife. So I hope that we will be able to gain some more information as this process moves forward with the project itself for 200 South Wright Avenue. So again, I would like to thank Ms. O'Brien, and thank you again for Ms. Jackson for getting that information over to her and making sure we have her information rather so that we can follow up. Ms. Bayless, thank you for your comments and your continued leadership and advocacy for the public hospital and raising a number of valid points in your time and your testimony this evening. We'll also like to thank Ms. Hastings. Thank you for being here and for raising your concerns and your comments. It is my hope that we can continue to work to address your concerns as it relates to public works and if there in fact are some gaps in services that you are seeing. So I look forward to working with you offline so we can address those concerns there. And then to Dominic Stratton, thank you for your advocacy and your leadership in taking the courage, if you will, or having the courage, rather, to stand and to raise dollars for those who are being unfortunately affected by the tragedies and the atrocities that we're seeing in Gaza. So I appreciate his leadership, as well as Mr. Alec Johnson. Thank you for your comments and your continued support in a number of these various different spaces. And I just wanted to note as well, to Mr. Stratton's, to his points, we actually did pass a ceasefire resolution, and I'm not sure on that date, but I do believe it was maybe soon after, maybe in 23. I believe we passed that resolution. I need to make sure that I have that date readily available, but we did do the necessary work in terms of passing the ceasefire. Sabre Costs, thank you for acknowledging the number of businesses, the number of partners and organizations that work in the space and to provide the support to our Q Plus community. Rick Flynn, thank you for your support and your leadership. B. Williams, thank you for being here as well. Sophia Faulkner, please forgive me if I mispronounced the last name, and thank you for being here and raising your concerns. Elizabeth Hudson, thank you for your continued leadership in providing legal counsel to the coalition itself. Sophie 3, thank you for your comments, and thank you for acknowledging the steps that the city has made thus far for recognizing and the support of the Q Plus community, and also making mention of the anti-discrimination ordinance. And I will tell you, to your point, we have made a commitment. Thank you for recognizing the date of August the 20th. We have made that commitment. This body has made the commitment to review and actually charge the city manager to direct the staff, in which our law department is reviewing our anti-discrimination ordinances. And then there's additional work that myself and Commissioner Fairchild and Commissioner Joseph have all committed to doing, the necessary legwork to review the legislation, the proposed legislation, as well as looking at other models across the state. So the work is being done. I know, again, there is some frustration, and I just wanted to just share with Moss Dickey, I understand your frustrations, and I am also personally aware of the pain and the trauma, and it holds no political correctness, so there's no need to apologize for your statement. So I appreciate you being here. Ms. Brenda Alexander, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I know that there has been some management changes that have taken place for Park Lane, but I acknowledge your leadership and your courage to raise those issues before this body. And so I would just ask Mr. Paulette if we could, in fact, I don't know if we could look into this or, okay, thank you.
It's already in process.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's already in process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for acknowledging that. And then I will look forward to working with DTU, Dayton Tenants Union, to get some additional information as to how we can collectively be of support to address those concerns for Park Lane. Mr. Hagan, thank you for reaffirming the importance of an affordable trust fund, housing trust fund. My words started up. Thank you for acknowledging all of the various different tentacles, in fact, and how the housing trust fund can impact the quality of life for many of our residents, and also can be a great driver for economic development in the Dayton area, the Dayton region for that matter. So I appreciate you speaking to that. Alexander Stone, thank you for your comments. Ms. Brown, thank you for being here, and congratulations once again. And I appreciate your courage and your leadership and your efforts and all the work that you're doing with DTU, as well as with advocates for basic legal equality. Ms. Burbank, Ms. Burbaker. I believe she has maybe exit, but hopefully we have our information so that we can follow up with the traffic concerns. I don't know if that's on your radar, Mr. Parlett.
I have not, but we'll follow up to get the names of the streets. I wasn't able to record them.
Yes, sir.
But we'll look into it.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. The traffic safety concerns. So again, we'll make sure that we follow up, and thank you for your commitment to do so. Mr. Watenza, thank you for always advocating for the number of different challenges that we have ongoing here on this land, near and afar, and just recognizing that we all are in some very difficult spaces right now. It seems and it feels that we all are under attack. And so now more than ever, again, I understand the sentiments in regards to the Q+ community and why it is in fact important for us to band together collectively for our Q+ community, our immigrant community, all of our Dayton residents. We want everyone to feel safe in the city of Dayton, regardless who you love, regardless of your economic status or the color of your skin. Dayton is in fact a place where everyone is welcome, and as long as I sit in the seat, I'm going to make sure that I uphold the oath that I took and the public trust that has been given to me to make sure that I'm governing with the people first in mind. And so I ask for your grace, ask for your support, and know that I'm going to continue to do the necessary work and the willingness that I have to continue to work with my colleagues as well as the administration. So thank you all for being here and for you taking the time out this evening. We'll also like to thank Ms. Reed for the talking points, the Riverwalk Community Input Meeting. This is something great to note, so please mark your calendars. The City of Dayton is partnering with 5 Rivers Metro Parks in the Miami Conservancy District to host a Riverwalk Community Input Meeting Thursday, September the 25th at 5:30 p.m. at 409 East Monument Avenue. The meeting is part of the Dayton Riverfront Plan and gives residents a chance to share their ideals for improving recreation, safety, and creating a vibrant walking path along the river. So this is one that you definitely want to take note and mark it on your calendar so that we can hear all of the concerns and all of the great ideas and ingenuity that many of us have in the city of Dayton. And then last but not least, I would like to recognize the African American Wellness Walk that took place this past weekend, which was well attended. We got our warm up in, ain't that right, Mayor? Got our warm up in. We were great walk. The weather was perfect. Again, it was well attended. A number of vendors, house screenings, just a great event. So I hope that next year it would even be even better. And then I would like to also acknowledge the Amos Project, which is the Black Women's Health Initiative. They hosted a forum this past Monday, which was well attended. Myself, the mayor, and Representative Timms, Ms. Stacey Benson-Taylor, Ms. Maddie White, as well as Senator Blackshear. We were all a part of the discussion, and it was a very fruitful, educating, and enlightening conversation. So a lot of great information. So again, would like to acknowledge Pastor Cunningham for hosting and allowing us to be in the sanctuary, to be in the house, as well as the Amos Project. So, and I believe that's all I have. Thank you.
A lot going on.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Fairchild.
Yeah. Commissioner Turner-Sloss, thank you for your comments and for recognizing all of our citizens who have come out to speak this evening. And I want to especially thank those who have waited through the whole meeting. You should be commended.
Yeah.
And I've been moved by the compassion in this room tonight. There's a common theme throughout the voices that we've heard. As a person of faith, I taught that what we do to the least of these in our midst is important. And as a public servant, I always think that how a society treats the most vulnerable in its community is a sign of its real strength and character. And so hearing your voices and reminding us of the important work we have for those who are most vulnerable, whether it's in our LGBTQ plus community, our persons who are transsexual, for our people living in poverty, for our brothers and sisters in Gaza or other places where violence is happening. Standing up for those who are vulnerable is commendable, and thank you for pushing us to not only hear, but also to move to action. And regarding the safe haven ordinance that's come before us, I don't know if it's you, Mr. Parlett, or you, Ms. Jackson, if we could get some communication, particularly with Ms. Hudson. I know that I saw an email from her requesting us to give her some communication. I don't know if the law director can talk with her directly. That would seem like the most logical next step to get the communication and help us move to a place where we can get an ordinance that can come before us and we can vote one way or the other on it. I think that's what our citizens are asking of us and what would be responsible to do. So thank you. It's hard to go from those thoughts because, really, the hardest kind of work that we need to do together to then move to some other things. But there are some other things I want to share. Had the opportunity to get over to Startup Week at the Hub, and it was a great event. We had guests from all across, as people locally from the state, but also across the nation coming in to take advantage of this asset we have in terms of helping entrepreneurs. And one of the things that I was most pleased to see as I went in and met people there is that those from the Dayton area actually did come from all across the city. And so it was great to see people from different parts of the community in that space working together and trying to create opportunities for people. So I wanted to share my experience of Startup Week. And give credit to everyone over at the Hub and UD and all of our partners there. The Air Force Marathon is this Saturday. It's an event that I've ridden many times. This will be the first year that I won't ride it in many years. But there's a lot of guests who come in from all around the world to be a part of that. As you bump into them in restaurants and stores and as they visit, I encourage you to be who you are, be very Dayton and hospitable and generous to them. On Saturday, there's Belmont Days, so this is a neighborhood I grew up in. I can remember going to the stores, just like it was a replica of downtown Dayton Days. So all the stores had specials out on the sidewalk, and you go, and whether it was the hardware store or the shoe store, there were always, it was a great time. And the great leaders over at Belmont have resurrected it, and it's a great time to come out and enjoy food trucks and vendors and music and a lot of great people. And that the official kickoff is at 11 for Belmont Days. And then I'm super curious about I think this is an inaugural C2 market over at the Davis Linden building. And this is what I can tell is a maker space. And so for small businesses who are trying to grow from your kitchen table into business, that this is a space for you. And so I'm super curious and invite other curious folks to come over. I think that's from 10 to 4 at the Davis Linden building. So thank you.
Okay. Again, there's so much going on in Dayton. Let me add to the list as well. I'll try to be quick as I can. First of all, thank all of you for being here, and thank you all for your comments as well. So, Expressions of Peace, organization called New Beginnings, is having a peace conference from 9 to 9 this Saturday. And it will be at the Convention Center on the 3rd floor. They have keynote speakers. They will be discussing peace, trauma, healing, a variety of workshops and panel discussions, live entertainment, cultural performances, interactive wellness demonstrations, and exclusive Expressions of Peace film will have a film showcase as well. The community partners are all presenting information about this particular session, and again, from 9 to 9, 3rd floor at the Dayton Convention Center. Additionally, this is Welcome Week from the September 12th through the 21st, and more than a week, of course. And so we'll be talking about all the kinds of things of welcoming people of all origins as far as the city of Dayton is concerned. Also, this year's theme is for Welcome Week is also stories that we share. A part of the Welcoming Week, we will share with our own Welcome Dayton program and organization. They will host an open house at the main Dayton Library downtown Thursday, September 18th from 5 to 7. And the community is invited. This course is free, and we have many of Dayton's immigrants to hear and listen to many of the stories that they've had in terms of their experiences. Earlier today, the housing group, the Realtors Union, or Realtors Organization, shared a lot of information about fair housing, resources, and speakers from across the state talking about the kinds of things and traumas. Much of what was shared earlier today from some of you who are experiencing some of the challenges with some of your landlords as far as that, as well as housing finance. How do you clean your credit? How do you expunge your record? All those kinds of things are continuously available through the Fair Housing and also through our people because of the work that we're doing as far as the city of Dayton is concerned as well. Additionally, on October the 11th, at the Kroc Center, 1000 Kiowee, there will be another session with Fair Housing, talking about some more detail about individuals who are working in those spaces. And then October the 27th, NAACP will be hosting a zoning and housing solutions program. It will be held at Grace United Methodist Church, 6:30 p.m. And again, like I said, on October the 27th, and that's located at 1001 Harvard Avenue. And with no further business to come before this commission, love and peace for all, hatred for none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for your attendance.